Hello everyone, welcome back to Breakage Barriers. If this is your first time, my name is Blessing. You can call me Lady B. So what I do here is talk about culture and human habits.
It's all about humanity.
So is there any one of you out there, especially any one of you out there who grew up in Africa or even in Asia? I think Asians also use what I'm about to talk about, which you must already have an idea of, is sponge. Sponge. So my personal experience while growing up was whenever we had our bath, we always use a particular type of sponge to scrub our body thoroughly. And while scrubbing, as most African parents are well known for, while scrubbing, they scrub the skin of that child or children so thoroughly to keep the body clean and glowing. That was the only type of sponge that I knew while I was growing up until a certain stage of my life, which was, I think it was the teenage years, 13, 14, 15, thereabout. Then we started getting introduced to another type of sponge, which then we were made to understand was, in quote, imported. The belief then was, if it's imported, it's authentic. If it's imported, is the ideal. If it's imported and foreign, then it's the best. It's in vogue. If you're not using it, then you're not in vogue, you're not in trend and all that stuff. So gradually, what I understand then as or noticed then was, gradually as I was growing, I now began to see that type of sponge that I was initially used to using when I was much younger began to fade away. Less people began to demand for such sponge. More people like myself then, and so many other people, began to demand for this imported sponge, which was believed then was more authentic than the one we were brought up with. I grew up in Yoruba land, so I'm very familiar with the language, and most of the culture I'm very familiar with it. In the Yoruba language, that sponge was called Koikoi. That's what I was used to calling it. But as time went on, because of the highly demanded and populated foreign sponge, the original sponge our parents used for us was fading gradually away. So what we now started embracing was the rubber type of sponge. Yes, read my lips. Rubber. It's funny. Rubber type of leaves. It's rubber. It's made out of rubber. But what I noticed, the original sponge clean the body thoroughly, and you could see the difference because of where that original sponge, I call it original sponge. When I say original sponge, I mean the Koikoi, I mean the African type of sponge, or West African type of sponge. So the original sponge cleanse the body much more thoroughly, and the product that sponge is originally made of is close to nature.
So Koikoi is a natural African exfoliating handmade local sponge. Kankan ibile, as it is originally called, is an exfoliating sponge used to scrub off dead skin cells from the body, including face. It is so good, Africans have been using this for many centuries to scrub off the dry, flaky skin of the body and even from a baby's body in order to reveal the baby's beautiful skin.
Oftentimes, if not all the time, they were handmade sponges, which even makes it more authentic. As far as I'm concerned, that's the more authentic type of sponge because of its originality and the source and the way it was made. Fast forward, many years later, I relocated to the UK, and I still continue to use the rubber type of sponge. Then at a time, I got fed up of the rubber type of sponge, then started using the foamy type of sponge, which is really soft, but there's really a difference between when you use the foamy type, the rubber type, and the original type of sponge, which is the Kankan that I'm trying to tell you. I noticed one thing as I got to the aisle in the shops where these sponges are being sold, because the consumer choice is huge. It's huge. So you had lots of options. So you have the rubber type, you have the foamy type, then you have the one that I'm about to bring to you, which is this one.
So the sponge I'm holding is called the Luffa Sponge. This sponge is from the Luffa plant. It is also used for exfoliating the skin and stimulating blood circulation while you have your shower or bath.
Here, in this part of the world, this type of sponge is called the natural sponge. I now began to have a thorough look at this sponge, and I could see the familiarity between this sponge and the sponge that I grew up with, which is, I'm going to put a picture of it here for you to see. So if you look at it, there's a lot of similarities, because from the instruction of this sponge, which I don't have because I've been using this for a while, the instruction of this sponge is that the material is
sourced naturally from the plant,
so which makes it more nature friendly. But what I'm trying to get at is Africans have really undermined what they have. We have really undermined what we have just to embrace the imported, just to embrace the foreign. So it's like we have compromised to the extent that we have I don't know if to use the word compromised or conformed or use both, to the extent that our own is being disregarded and the foreign is being over highly rated. Because I see no difference between that original sponge, Koikoi, and this sponge.
The only difference I could find in both of these sponges is that one is made out of one type of plant and the other is made out of another type of plant. The Ufa Sponge, which is the one I'm holding, is shaped in different forms.
The only difference is that this sponge is shaped. It's been shaped. When I turn this, you see it's got wood here. So there's a wood that comes attached here. So you can either use this to wash your body as it is, and at the same time, if you are a person who struggles to wash his or her back, you can attach the wood and use it to wash your back. That's what this is. So if only Africans can use what they have, we use what we have, appreciate what we have, research into it, repackage it, repackage it and repackage it, refine it and repackage it. repackage it to a good standard and present it to the world, I tell you, they will pay for it. Like we are paying for this one. Convert that one. Because me, I still convert too. I still convert the money to Naira. Eh? Convert that is how much this coin.
This is the same concept as Koikoi. It's the same concept.
This is coin. Refined coin. Tell me this is not coin. It's the same thing as coin. Meanwhile, Africans are like, those are archaic type of coin. It's not in trend anymore. It's old. Kinikan. It's not old. And if it's old, renew it, refine it. Because we need the old. We cannot take the old and chunk it away and say, oh, it's old. We don't have to throw away our tradition, but we can refine our tradition. And this is not just a message to Africans, because I represent all. I love everyone. This is a message to every one of us, that whatsoever we have should not be undermined, because there's greatness in it. With this, I say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to press the subscribe button, the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Appreciate the old. There's greatness in it. Bye.